Let's do it.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Val with Allen Custom Builders, and I'm with...
Gary Fadness, Beagle Heights Drafting and Design.
Yeah. So, and this, I think this is our 4th episode, so which is pretty exciting for us and what we do. But today we're have one of our friends and people we work with, Gary here, and yeah, just kind of want to talk about a little bit about his story. He's got a really fascinating story. So every time I go into his shop, we get to BS for a little while and talk about. My wife really wanted us to talk about the old days a little bit, but I really want to hear, like, if you could hear to our audience what you do and how long you've been doing it, and what is your favorite things to do? Just kind of
Okay, so it all started when I was in junior high. I wanted to build houses like you.
Yeah.
And my mom said, architecture's where the money's at. Boy, did she lie. But so I went down that path and went to Arizona, got some schooling in architecture and then CAD work, and then kind of I worked for several architectural firms in Arizona. And when I started having a family, I decided I want to move back to Oregon and raise my kids here, and that's what I did. And not a lot of, at the time, there weren't a lot of jobs in my field, so I just created one.
Nice.
Yep. And so we started doing, I did, in Arizona, I did multifamily. I did a lot of government handicap accessibility drawings and stuff. But what I wanted to do was custom homes. And so that's what I focused on when I got back to Oregon.
Yeah. No, I mean, you do really great too. I know for us, working with you, I mean, you definitely go, the funny part about it is, I was actually just telling a customer this, the difference between a drafter and an architect, right? There, it's different. You add the architecture to the drafting, which is a little bit different than, I would say, sets you apart than other people. I'm from California originally, so you say whatever you want about that. But the fact of it is that the building practices where I come from are just a little bit different. And the way of doing things is a little bit different. But we would deal with, I got hired most of the time from an architect. Mm-hmm. They would hire me to do their jobs versus us come to you. It was always a little bit different there, but they also were designers. They designed it. They looked at it. I worked for Jensen's architect firm out of San Francisco for years, and I would get sets of plans that didn't have measurements on it.
Yeah. Just wing it.
Well, they didn't wing it. It was the fact that, like, they're like, well, it's just whatever the space turns out to be kind of thing. And you're like, now it would go to an engineer and we would get sizes of beams and those kind of things. But when it came to the room size, a lot of it was up to the area. And it was, they would have an architect that would come down to your job site once a week, and you kind of would design as you went.
On the fly, just make sure it fits and meets code. And
yeah,
all that.
Right. Yeah. But as long as it looked the way that their client wanted it to look, then they were doing it. So, but the nice thing, that's what I'm saying, is that when we get your drawings, they have a lot of those. They have a lot of those features in there. So for me, it's kind of nice because it's easy to. There's a lot less for discussion when you see your picture versus somebody else.
Yeah. Well, my background, I wasn't a home builder like you, but I did build homes. I got to frame homes. One of the architectural firms I worked for was actually a construction company that started an in-house architectural firm. Mm. And he knew the struggles of architects and contractors. And so he made our architectural team go out on the job site every Friday and work with the guys and try to see like what we were drawing and how we were building it and the problems that has. And I got to learn a lot about, you can draw a lot of cool stuff. It doesn't mean you can build it or it's going to cost a lot more to build it. And so knowing that, when I draw my plans, I'm always thinking about you and how to make your job easier, because I can sit down and figure out all this stuff for you, and then that way you're not out in the field trying to figure it out in the hot sun or the rain.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather try to figure it out on paper, and I'm working with the homeowners, so we're massaging it and moving things around, and that way when you get out there, it's just that much easier.
Yeah. Now we appreciate that stuff, definitely. All of it we appreciate. Like I know one of the big things that's happened to us lately, and I'm gonna have a hard time not saying any names, but like we have the call outs for some of our strapping and our hold downs. You call them out.
Yes.
Well, other people don't do that. So other people will say things like a number, like 1,800 pound, or things, and I'm like, God, dude. So we have to look it up, and we have to get the Simpson book out, and then in the Simpson book, it'll say an HDU4 is a 16087 or something, right? It'll say, and you're like, God, there's just a lot to interpretation where you put down there HDU4 or HDU6 or 36 LTSDA, right? Like it'll be labeled versus.
Well, it's so much easier for me to do it when I'm sitting at my desk with all the books there. I can go through and I can figure this stuff out versus you're in the field, you're trying to build a wall, and the last thing you want to do is stop and go find a book and then figure it out. It would be so much easier to just spell it out. And when I build my own projects, I find that I shortcut myself a lot. And so then I'm building my own project, and I'm like, why didn't I just do what I do for everybody else?
Yeah,
give myself all the information. It's like
it'd be so much easier.
Yeah. But so I go back to the drawing board and try to fix it. But
that's funny.
But yeah, I just know that when I'm working with Hunter and I'm telling him I tell him exactly how I want these drawings put together because they need to be clean. They need to be. I used to work with an architectural firm where they tried to save. I guess they tried to save paper because they were just trying to shove everything on one page, and it was just so cluttered.
Yeah.
And so that's why I decided years ago that let the framer have his own page. That way, because all he cares about is where's the walls going.
Yeah.
And then the next page is all the fixtures, all the fun stuff, all the decorative stuff, and anyway, need to just break it up to where it's not just overwhelming when you open up that page.
Yeah. I actually like that. That is one of my favorite. I don't really use that frame page a whole lot just because I like to see, and I will move windows around a little bit to kind of maybe center some things, I like to double check that. Not saying that anybody's wrong or nothing, but add our little flair to it. But I like those two pages because I get to go, okay, this one might say that length of wall and this one might not.
Yeah.
Right. And I might go, oh, okay. And so that way, if there is some discrepancies, because sometimes when you're building decks and things like that, or you're landing walls on top of your deck system, that it sometimes you can have an extra half inch somewhere.
Absolutely. Yep.
And just seeing where you can, put it in there is great. So you mentioned Hunter. How long has Hunter been working with you?
Oh, it was 2021, 2022. I started teaching him some things. Actually, I started teaching him when he was 10 years old how to draw.
Oh, yeah.
And so the kid was drawing things on AutoCAD. I mean, just ridiculous stuff, artwork kind of stuff. Man, he was just playing with it. And then he didn't want to work for me. So I finally, after a lot of years, he finally broke down and said, okay, I'll work with you.
That makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, having your kid do that kind of stuff can be challenging. I know. Actually, last week, me and Ed talked about that because he's got his kid that works with him too.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that, and our expectations of them. You actually seem to have it down better than me or Ed because I'm hardest on my kids. I've already fired one of my kids. On this one, he's almost gotten a write-up twice, but Sam, my construction manager, was like, okay, hang on, settle down. He's not doing anything. My expectations for him are so much higher than everybody else's, and.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you're in a field where, you have only certain hours of the day you can work and you got to get things done. And so you're pushing, you got to get these things done. And things have to happen in an order so your subs could come in and do their job. My job, it's like I'm not held by weather. I'm not held by the light of day. if I have to work at midnight to get a job done, I can work at midnight. And so and that's what I tell my son is like, I don't have a set hour. Just get the job done.
Yeah.
And as long as you're producing and getting the job done, I'm happy.
That's great.
I like that part of my job. It's very flexible. So, yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're taking another vacation?" I go, "I didn't see you on Saturday and Sunday when I was working."
Yeah, for real. No, I get that. That's why I'll say nothing ever, just because I know what it's like. You know,
Yeah.
That's funny. And so Hunter. Yeah, that's interesting because you have another location.
Yeah, he moved to Arizona, and he's down there. He's working remotely now. Our IT guy, Pedro Carrillo, he set up the computer system to where he can log in Arizona, and he's actually working on our server here at the office in Oregon.
That's
And
so cool.
so he's hoping to branch out and start drawing some Arizona houses. But right now he's just dipping his feet in the water, trying to get acclimated.
You know, there's a lot to be said about that, being there in person and getting connections. You know, I think it's very interesting. Out of all the people that I talk to in our I would say my friend group, I don't know about their friend. I'm not friends with very many people, but I would say the people that I associate with, that I really do like, and Nick, you're one of them. But like Josh, and there's a few other people that I really call. Learning how to put the rubber to the road, get your name out, get jobs, your next level. To me, that going to Arizona, like we've in our house here, we've talked about going to Eugene.
Yeah.
Right, which is like 30 miles up the road. You went states away to do this, so I'm.
Well, that's all on Hunter. That's his baby. I always had that vision of possibly doing that because I used to design a lot of homes in Arizona. Even when I worked for architects down there, I would do side jobs and stuff, and I designed some really cool homes. And I designed cool homes here too, but they're different. I mean, that's like crazy money. They just throw money away and just like 10,000 square foot houses and stuff. It's just, those are fun projects. And I'm really looking forward to him diving into that and possibly getting to work on some of those.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I know from being from a different area, the difference from here to somewhere else. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, I do miss a lot of those things. I was really lucky to work with a contractor that only built mansion style homes, and I think the smallest home that we built when I worked for Tom Pryor was like 9,500 square foot. You know, most of the things we did were in the teens.
Yeah.
You know, and they had maids living quarters, and they had pools in the middle of the homes, and they had that's just what we did, you know, and like we'd spend 10, 12 months on a home with 30 guys working on it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was real. That was. So when we did smaller homes, like when I moved here and I was doing it, I was like, oh, wow, we can do these in, like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Like with 2 guys, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just the level is different, you know. I almost think it's harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Staying competitive in a smaller home.
I think so, because like you do a big house like that, you have a job for a year, if not more. You do the smaller homes, you got to have 2, 3, 4 of those a year just to keep going, and that's with 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah,
you get a bigger crew, and you need a lot of jobs. You need a lot of construction.
You know, that's funny because I mean, even the year, you know, you could get in there, you don't even get into the job till like day 30.
Yeah,
right, and then all of a sudden now your mind's thinking about it, and these smaller homes. Now you're like right the second you understand what everything's happening, you're already going to the next project. So it's. Where those bigger homes, you can really get invested.
Yeah,
I would even think for drawing them as well, right?
Oh, 100%. I love drawing those big houses because those people, they have a vision, and so you got to really do cool things. I've designed homes where they had their own taxiway because they landed their plane in their backyard, and and we had to design a hangar that was they had a 2-car garage, but also they had a hangar so they could just pull their plane in and go to bed. Dude, there was a lot of cool things. I designed a home for a Formula One race car driver, and he had to have a shop big enough for his race cars and all that stuff. I mean, I personally didn't do it, but my friend built a garage for the Barrett Jackson guys.
Okay.
And it had a turnstile. He took me down to see it. It had a turnstile in his garage. He parks his car there, and it just sits there. And I'm like, that's the kind of project that'd be fun.
Yeah,
it's like, how do you figure that out?
I would love to do that. Yes,
Yeah.
You're right. I remember we built a home in California, and it was for somebody that worked. I don't know if it directly worked for NASA or if they worked in the space station or something like that. But they'd flew in on a helicopter at one point of the project. We only met them. So we built this whole house around this thing called Big Ugly. And it was on the plans, right? So the architect, and it was a 3-story home, but in the center of the home, it had this staircase, very big, grand staircase. And in the middle of the staircase, like on the second floor in the middle, it had we built this platform with all this lighting, and it went like a circle for a piece of artwork.
Oh.
So we built this whole house kind of like around this thing. And then I remember at the end of the project, I said, hey, if you guys need help moving in, our crew would love to help you. And they're like, well, really? And I'm like, and everybody's like, everybody wanted to see what Big Ugly looked like. Because here for 11 months of our project, we talked about it every day for lunch. And it was because they sat down with the architect and designed this around us. And it was, we lived that project, right? Like, and so when we finally did move it, it was like some Japanese hand carved piece of junk. Really, I mean, I'm not saying it was junk by no means. It didn't look.
It wasn't what you were.
It was Big Ugly. It was actually big and ugly. Yeah. So it was really, really funny that worked out that way.
But I got the opportunity to work on a house in Arizona that it was for a professional baseball player, and it was in the shape of a baseball diamond, nice. The bedrooms were on the overlook up like the upper stadium, looking down on the field, which was the living room.
No way.
It was pretty cool. I mean, just the fact that he wanted his house to look like a baseball field was pretty cool.
You know what? I mean, every great lives it, right? You got to live it. If you're going to do it, you got to live it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, so I find it hard sometimes when I get those phone calls. I'd like to add a 10 by 10 bathroom. Oh, okay. Dude, I just designed a 14,000 square foot baseball diamond.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll do your bathroom.
Yeah. No, I know. Believe me. What do you think? I mean, I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. We will obviously do all the things you want us to do. But you're right. It's almost more fun to do the weird, crazy stuff when it comes to that. You know, and even in our bidding and our estimating, we've been doing things called cheat sheets, and for that one reason. That way, so if somebody does call, say, hey, I want a 10 by 10 bathroom, I can kind of go, okay, cool. Well, the last one was around $24,000 with this, and that. And then that way, those people can kind of go, it is such a small thing that we should just have a number for it. Yeah. Right? Like, I mean, really, when it comes down to the end of the day, because we want to spend our time, once that one-off comes through, like, hey, I got this crazy thing. Can you come out and look at it? Yeah, dude, absolutely. Now you just intrigued me. It's crazy. It might be a little bit different. We're going to be doing something on some hill, or it's something crazy. Let's just go check it out. Versus the 10 by 10 that takes me 2 weeks to get back to them. Yeah. You know, it's like, I mean, when you guys, if they were to walk into your office, would you have some sort of base price for something like that?
I'd have a ballpark, but my side's a little bit different because it's, drawings, we could just draw the pictures. Where we fall off the track is when the homeowner doesn't quite know what they want, and so we spend days, weeks, months redesigning. That starts to get pretty costly, and so at the end of the day, when they get their bill, they're like, "What?" Yeah. But so the changes really are hard. I feel like your job would be even more difficult because you have to get into their brain and figure out who these people are and what their likes and dislikes are. Because if I take you to the grocery store with 2 bags, equal sized bags, and you fill one with ramen noodles and the other with steak, there's 2 different prices there, but it's the same square footage. Yeah. So you got to find out what these homeowners want, because they could either have a ramen noodles budget or a steak budget. in the same square foot. I've had smaller 1,500 square foot homes cost more in the end than a 3,000 square foot custom, just because the people, they wanted a smaller home, but they also wanted the nice stuff. And so for you really have to find these people, like find out what they like, and then budget accordingly. So me, I'm drawing a picture. So, but when you start picking out faucets and one's 300 and one's 3,000, you need to squeeze it in that budget. So that's tough.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That is you know, we did pride up until, like, I would say a year ago, we pride ourselves. We didn't do like change orders a whole bunch. Like, if you come and get a price from L&M Custom Builders, let's say it's $575,000, right? You won't pay a dime over that. You won't pay a dime over that, and we like pride ourselves on that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everybody feels the same way about that. And now I've had a lot of customers kind of like take advantage of that a little bit. You know, they're like, well, you know, I thought this. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know. You know, so what we've gotten better at, and I think a customer's job is to get the best product they can get for as cheap as they can get it, and all those things. They're doing their job.
Yep.
And now I just need to know I'm doing my job right. And so part of my reason of making sure that I got that bag full of steak and they're going to pay for it is how well my paperwork's at the beginning.
Yeah.
So like, you're right. So like, cool, I'm going to write down, cool, we're talking about a bag full of ramen, X amount of money, right? And then that way when we do get there, we're like, okay, and now my construction manager walks around with change order stuff, and then as we change it, he just writes it up right there, and it's all up front. But you're right. It is most of the time when people talk, I think when they talk to you too, because I see your set of plans, and then when I've estimated a couple of them, and then the people are like, oh, that's just too much. And then I'm like, oh, okay. I think with you, these people are dreaming.
100%.
Right.
Yep.
And then when they get to me and they see the price, I'm like, dude, I mean, you had to draw it up. I didn't have it drawn up. Like, I mean, at what point is it very interesting. Actually, I have a question for you. That's always, do they talk about budget with you?
So that's the funny thing is I find it odd that a lot of people don't want to tell me what their budget is. I don't know why. It's kind of like
you should know.
I should be the one to know.
Yeah,
because I could tell them whether they're out of their budget or not. In fact, I've had a few people get mad at me because I did know what their budget was, and I tried to steer them away because I said you're going over budget, and they didn't like me telling them how to spend their money. And I was just looking out for their best interests, and I was trying to tell them, that's a really big thing. That's going to cost you some money. Probably don't want to do that. And they didn't listen. We drew it, and they still didn't build it because it's too much money. It doesn't fit the budget. But yeah, I agree with you. I should be the one to know what the budget is because I don't know all the numbers. The numbers change so often. Material changes, prices. I mean, even for you when you're bidding it out, you can't take the price of a sink last job and use it on this job necessarily because things change so quickly. But I should still have a ballpark idea.
Yeah, you know, and not only that too, but you have like, I mean, there's like Nick and like there's lots of people you could call.
Yep. Yeah.
And be like, hey, dude, I'm kind of looking at this thing. You know, how much does this normally cost? And I mean, if you called a handful of people, you'd have some numbers.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
yep.
Like if you could call me about anything, and I'd be like, yeah, dude, hang on, give me 1 second. And I'd be like, or text me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, dude, I think the last time we were at like $671 a square foot for Hardy or whatever. I'd be able to give you some numbers, and then you can kind of click apart and be like, yeah, okay, it looks like this is in your budget. But if you don't know, then I mean,
I do. I agree with you. I think that I try to keep people in their lane respectfully, but they are excited. They're drawing a picture. They're like they want to see this build.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when they get down to it and they give it to you and you budget it out, you're like, oh yeah, that's going to be expensive. Yeah. So I deal with that all the time, and I try to. I spent the last 3 months redrawing plans because of that reason. Got in the field and realized it was just too expensive, and so we had to downsize them. So And that's tough because now the homeowners are having to settle. I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, dude, that's a horrible feeling, dude.
Yeah.
That is a horrible feeling. I was just talking to, God, what did I just bring? Oh, I went and looked at, actually, I'm right up the road here. We live on Nonpareil, but right up the road here is Nick's something. There's like a big old shop off to the right that goes out like Driver Valley.
Okay, yeah.
So we drive by it all the time. I'm like, man, I wonder what that place does. And I look it up. Well, it's a CNC machine shop.
Okay.
So like right now they're doing drivers. Well, anyways, that family had called us out and was like, hey, can you come out and do a bid for an outdoor space of ours? So I went out the other day. Great young couple, great looking family. I mean, young family. Mm-hmm. Like they had little kids running around with diapers and all the things. And I was like, wow, okay. You could tell their hands are full, right?
Yeah.
But they had got this modular home put on the side of a hill out there by Mildred Knipe, kind of. Mm-hmm. And so, like, hey, I want this cool thing. And then, but they're like, but we can, instead of doing the nice big trusses with the Starburst package with beams, let's go ahead and do like a bid with a shed roof. And if that one isn't cheap enough, let's go off this other end of this gable, let's make it smaller. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And like, well, I want this. I'm like, the most expensive part. I said, well, check it out. Before we have her, I'm going to come to you with it, right? Let's do that. I'll come up with because I was like, let's see if we can get a beam that spans 43 feet.
Yeah.
Let's just spend the money, see what we can do, put some purlins going across. It's only like 16 feet deep, 43 feet wide, but like 16 feet deep. I said, let's get that cost and see if we can get it. And then if you can't get it this summer, so what?
Yeah.
Like, wait a year. Mm-hmm. Or you guys are going to settle. I'm a big guy. I'm like, I'm not going to push somebody to make a decision. I would rather them like, dude, wait.
Yeah.
Just wait a little bit.
Get what you want so you're happy.
Yeah, dude. Like, because, I mean, you could see the hill. And I'm like, you want us to put a shed roof over here? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I look at it a lot of times that this decision is usually the most expensive decision a person's going to make in their life, building a home. So it's like, don't settle because you're always going to be angry when you see that one thing you settled on. It's like, why didn't I just go with it?
Yeah.
I was just talking to some customers the other day, and they were wanting to downsize because it was just going to be too expensive. And it wasn't a large amount of square footage they were downsizing, but it was enough. And I said, well, rather than downsize, because we can't, in 10 years, we can't add that square footage back as easy. I mean, you can add it back, but you can't add that square footage back. So rather than do that, keep the square footage as is and dumb down your interior in certain areas, because in 5 years, you could remodel those areas.
Yeah.
But you can't. And you still have the square footage. You just can't. You're just not going to add that square footage back.
Yeah, especially when it's like 2 feet in this bedroom, 2 foot in that bedroom. Like you can't, dude. Exactly, you're right. Yeah. I mean, you could add another room.
Yeah,
but the rooms are all smaller because you thought,
And a lot of times people think that they're so focused on that price per square foot. It doesn't work that way. A price per square foot is usually figured out after the construction. It's used as a tool going into construction, but it's not. It's not always perfectly accurate.
Dude, I wish people could say that, dude, 1,000 times a day, because you're right. Everybody's like, well, what are you building? I go, well, I don't know. Let me see what I do is I take all the numbers and then I take that full number and divide your square footage into a number, and then it comes up with a number. Yeah. I don't bid by that number. Yeah. You know, I said, and you know, it's funny because we just bidded one out for a total dried in. You're gonna crap yourself right now. Okay, so a dried in number. This was the framing, siding, windows, doors, soffits, roof, the whole thing. Right, dried in number was $52 a square foot. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing, because the fixtures is where you blow your budget. I mean, the structure, I always feel, and I could be completely wrong, but I always feel the structure, it is what it is. You're not going to change the price of that. Yeah. The only way you're going to change the price of that, which I've known some contractors to do, is to degrade the structure of the home. Instead of doing 16-inch on center on the floor joist, let's save a couple bucks. We'll do 24-inch on center on the floor joist.
Yeah,
but then what do you end up? You end up with a weaker structure.
Yeah.
I would rather just, the structure is what it is. Downplay your interior fixtures. Then that way you can come back in 5 years and remodel that. Another thing I tell my homeowners is your kitchen and your master bedroom, bathroom, your master suite. Those are going to be the two focal points that you as a homeowner are always going to be in. Make those two rooms. Spend your money there.
Yeah.
The kids' bedroom, the kids' bathrooms.
Yeah.
We can remodel those in a few years.
Yeah.
Let's just deal with that. But those two things, if you're happy with those, and of course for the husbands, it's the garage.
Yeah.
But if you're happy with those things, then most of the time you could be happy with the house.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's just you gotta find what your niche is, and then be happy there. Like if a lot of people, they love to cook. Not me. I like to eat, but not cook. So that's the kitchen. Make that kitchen awesome.
Yeah.
Spend your money there.
I agree with that. I actually like a nice kitchen. But also, I've seen people spend $25,000 in a kitchen. I've seen people spend $125,000 in a kitchen.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, you're completely right on the finishes on there. It's we've had a customer that wanted their master bathroom all tiled, super one-off. We went above and beyond, and I think. And I really she was a good customer of ours. And so, I mean, her bathroom came out really cool, but she designed the whole thing. And we, had the time to give her to go pick out the tiles. She sourced the tiles. She did all that work up front. We just had to install it, which was good. And we kind of helped her along a little bit here and there and, and mocking things up and doing that. But that's what you get with a custom home builder versus somebody else. But, going back on that span thing you just said, which is really funny because I got a good story for that. So we built a house. Well, we weren't the builders, but we framed up a house for another construction company. Not going to name any names, but because it's funny because you can. Okay. All right. So we did this framing, and we actually framed a bunch of houses for this company. We were doing probably 2 a month for over a year. And so it was over here by the golf course, actually in Sutherland. It's a 2-story home. We framed it up, and I think it was a couple weeks, put some siding on, maybe another week or something like that. It was a pretty quick house we went through. Well, I get a call at the end of it. My kids go to the Southern Schools District, right? So our youngest two are in the same class as this family, right? We're really good friends with this family. They love us every time they see them. I unfortunately can't remember their name. So, but like I wasn't working for them. I actually worked with this other contractor. All good people involved. Nothing went on. We didn't do anything shady, nothing like that. But, right, this is why you'd want to hire a contractor versus some other person that might give you financing and other things, and plug and play systems might not always be the best. Well, I get this call, right? And they're like, because we're the framers, and that's fine. I'll show up, whatever. And they go, hey, so I walk in this guy's house, and you walk into this like den. It was a big home, 2-story home. You walk in this den, and as you walked, you could hear something rubbing on something in the center of the room. And I couldn't figure it out. And so I'm with this other guy, this project manager of this other company. And then he goes, hey, Val, so when you walk through the middle of the room, there was a play like a kid's like kitchenette plaything that was rubbing on the wall up and down as you walk through the room because of the spans, right? Yep. And so I'm like, and he's like, dude, you didn't glue the subfloor down. I'm like, dude, we glued the subfloor down, right? I said, but let's go check it. So me and this guy, we go underneath this house, which of course it's all brand new. It's great. We wiggle all the way down there to the end there. We're messing with it. He ends up prying it off, the T&G off of the joist, right? And I'm like, because they did 19 diamond on all their layout, right? They just did the farthest layout they could do. I mean, it wasn't 2 foot, but 19 diamond I think is a little much. I think anyways. But it passes code. I mean, it's all engineered, right? What are you going to do, dude, right? Like, is what it is. So he peels it up, and then he goes, "Oh, there is glue all over," and you could see the glue just all over the place because you know how that works, right?
Yep.
I go, so I look at him. I go, "What do we do now?" And he goes, "Well, what can you do?" I says, "Well, I mean, I could come down here and shore this whole area up with you know some posts and some beams and stuff. You know, it'd be about $55,000." I was just playing with him, obviously, but he said, "Come on, Val, you're gonna." Well, it ain't my fault.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what are you going to do? Because now we're arguing. It's funny because this guy told me that he could hear us arguing underneath the house. We're down there, and I'm like, we're going back and forth, and I go, what do you? I mean, I go, how many of these houses you built? He goes, I don't know, dozens of them, because the same floor model and the same things.
Absolutely.
And I go, then what did you guys do before? He goes, we just never had this problem. I said,
yeah, you had the problem.
Come on, dude.
No one ever just complained about it.
So we're down there arguing. We're like face to face. You know, it's like underneath the house, and we're kind of just like got our phone light out. We're just like arguing. And anyways, we went back and just did it for them, and I think we charged them like $500 or something.
Yeah,
but it was funny that people.
Well, and that's one of the complaints I have is like I go into a lot of these homes that are just wham bam, thank you ma'am, throw them up and let's just move on. And when you walk in the front door, you can hear the kitchen dishes rattle.
Yeah, and
that's because your floor joists are they're overspanned, they're undersized. Overspaced, and those things they're like rubber, and they just cause a shock wave. And so when we design our floors, the I joists, as you know, come with it. They have a chart. They've been tested, and they have like a 2-star rating, 3-star rating, 4-star rating, and we shoot for the 4-star every time.
Yeah,
we might be just a touch under 4. But it's still in the 3, which is good. And but some guys will take our drawings and they'll dump it down just to save a few bucks. And I'm like, as long as my drawings show what is right and what is going on, then I feel comfortable. It's between them and the homeowner if they decide to change it in the field. I can't help that. But that's the thing is like when you walk in that kitchen, I tell people all the time, if the dishes are rattling, it's not structurally sound.
Yeah, and that's crazy you say that because like, for instance, if I get a set of plans, if it's from you or from Dennis or whoever it's from or TV or whatever, like when I get this set of plans, as I'm estimating, I don't even think about that, right? Yeah. I just go, oh, it's a BCI 5000. Oh, it's a red line L80, right? And I'll just write down whatever you guys put down there.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Right? Because I mean, I'm just a builder. I don't know any of the difference. I know if when I get a call from our supply house, they're like, well, I have this other one or this one, right? I always ask, my biggest question is because I mean, a 12-inch and a 14-inch and a 24-inch, they're all the same. I said, well, what's the top width on it? Mm-hmm. And they go, well, one is 1 inch and 7/8 and the other is 2 3/4. Give me 2 3/4. Mm-hmm. I always do that because I want to be able to lay my glue and my nail line on something that's wider than not. Yeah. So if I have a choice, I always go with it. And I think those are always the bigger ones anyway.
Yeah,
so
they are the stronger. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sometimes funny thing, which when I was building my house, sometimes you could get the bigger ones cheaper than the smaller ones because they keep the smaller ones more in stock because they sell more of them. And these other ones, maybe they're special order, somebody didn't take them or whatever the case is, I don't know. But I was able to really save some money by upgrading because they just had them and they wanted to get rid of them. So I just did. I mean, I like to try to upgrade any structurally because, like I said before, you could change out your countertops. You can't change out your floor joists.
Yeah, no, you don't cheap out on the little things, dude. Like,
I used to, the footings and stem walls, I used to argue all the time about, they are the shoes of your home. If your shoes hurt, if your feet are hurting, that's not good. You don't want your house to hurt. And so I'm always like 8-inch or 24-inch footings, 8-inch stem walls. I mean, even though the code doesn't make you do that, I always try to do that on customs. Yeah. Now, granted, on smaller homes, you can go to the 18s and the 6s and stuff, but I always try to push the envelope and make it more just better.
Well, dude, if you go an 8-inch stem wall, you can add a second story.
Yeah.
Without doing anything.
Yep. Yeah, I have a lot of people now that with the price of new homes and stuff, they want to just expand their existing home. And I've had a lot of people lately, I want to go 2-story. Well, your house wasn't built to do that. Your footings aren't big enough. Stem walls, they don't meet code. Maybe the structure, the walls, the framing, whatever the case is, I'm like, you can't go up. And if you do go up, what we have to do to it is going to be super expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah. I just, anytime it's a custom home, I used to even, on all my homes, I used to call out 1 1/8 because you could park a tank on that stuff.
Yeah.
And even though I called it out, a lot of guys wouldn't install it. They'd just save money and put the 3/4 in.
Yeah, I don't know how you're saving money. If you called that out, I estimated for it.
Yeah, yeah. And when we figured out the difference on this big 3,000 square foot custom home I did. It was for the entire home going from 3/4 to 1 1/8 was like $2,000 difference. In a $1 million home, you're not going to spend an extra $2,000 to make sure your floor is beautiful.
And not only that, but when you're putting your interior walls down and when you're doing all the stuff, that 1 1/8 is what you want.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. No, I love building with 1 1/8. Yeah. It's what you want.
Yep. I did that on my house. I love it. It doesn't creak. It doesn't move. You can park a truck on there.
Yeah. You can block it out everywhere. You can it's just so much better. Yep. And I think plywood, I'm a big advocate for plywood versus the OSB, honestly, or a stranded board, It's fine. It's all fine. I don't question it, but it's harder to rip off a piece of plywood than it is a piece of OSB.
Yeah,
I know that, so for me, it's like that,
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's interesting. So how do you think this year's looking for you guys? Pretty good?
Oh, yeah. We're super busy right now. I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things I try to get out to the public is don't come to me and ask me to draw you a set of plans and you want to start building in 2 weeks. Because that's not going to happen. I like if you foresee you're going to build a house in the next year or two, let's start planning now. Yeah. Because there's plenty of times during the year that there's a 4 to 6 month waiting just for me to draw something because I got like right now I have 30 houses I'm drawing on the schedule, 30. So and during that time I have jobs that are under construction that they end up back on my lap for some reason or another. Maybe it's just a question, maybe it's just a couple hours, maybe it's this or that, but it takes me away from what I'm doing so I can solve that problem that they're in the field dealing with. Yeah. That can't wait 3 months. Yeah. They're building. Right. So they have to take precedence and I have to stop what I'm doing and do that. So I always try to tell people, if you want to build this summer, don't come to me in May and want me to draw a house. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
Same as us.
Yeah. You plan for a contractor well in advance. Well, plan for your home designer well in advance.
Yeah. Believe me, when they come to us, we're like, hey, have you talked to this? Yeah. Have you talked to this guy? And sometimes I think it feels like we shove people off too. Yeah. I feel like sometimes, like you'll call our office and you're going to talk to a couple ladies and they're going to be like, all right, so they're excited, but they're going to be like, check it out. Yeah. You need this. And then I think some people are like, oh no, I'm overwhelmed. When really they could be like, hey, we'll do it for you. Yeah. We'll call the guy. We'll set it up. But again, you're right. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit longer than 2 days to get everything done. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially to do it right, because I don't know how many times homeowners have called me and said, we know exactly what we want. We have everything. It'll be really easy for you. And 9 times out of 10, we draw it, and then we spend the next 2 months making changes because everybody makes changes. I mean, they do. It is what it is. Because once we start drawing it and we put the wall thicknesses in there and we really show them how it flows, right. Then they're like, oh, I don't like how that flows. Wow, so we change it.
That's crazy.
So. And I also tell back to your change order comment earlier was I always tell people it's much cheaper to change it on paper. Yeah. So let's take the time to get everything the way you want it, so you're not having to do those change orders in the field. I mean, it's inevitable you're going to do it, but let's try to head it off at the pass as much as we can.
Yeah, I've had people like I try to get away from the 5/4 trim. I try to. you know, like I like 2x material and I like trim. I like my door or my window trim to stick out past my windows. Sorry, everybody. Where I come from, that's kind of the vibe we do.
Yeah.
And here they want their windows to stick out past their trim, which I don't really agree with. I mean, I could see where the water comes down, it goes out the weep holes, and maybe but we'd always chamfered those.
Yeah.
We've always made it look really good, and then your trim is. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, I think
maybe I'm just talking to the wrong customers. I don't really know, dude. Like I'm just really. But
well, on that same note, you always think about maintenance. You got to think about long-term maintenance. When I built my house, I just knew I wanted a Western red cedar home. That's what I wanted. I didn't care. That's what I wanted. After 5 years, I realized I should have cared because they are maintenance.
Yeah,
they are maintenance, and it's like
they gray out real quick.
Oh,
yeah.
So you and your trim and your windows and your water. I mean, the rain. You have to plan for those things. Longevity, maintenance. How's that trim going to protect that window?
Yeah.
You're right on.
You know, and we even have people we call like, "Hey, do you want us to come back and reseal your concrete?" You know, and everybody's like, "No, I think it looks fine." I'm like, "Damn, dude! Like we could, if we did it twice a year, just in a few years, your concrete would be bulletproof looking."
Yeah. I try to seal mine at least once a year. I power wash it and seal it. Because concrete will degrade. It will wear out eventually. And if you keep it sealed, it'll last that much longer.
If you do it twice a year, dude, it gets this thick like look, this depth look where you can. So if you did it like multiple times over and over, you'd get it really fast. But I try to do that for people, and I give them. I think it's like $375 for us to come out and do it. I get some stupid amount of money. It like costs us more money to do it than we do it, but just try to give people the point was to reconnect with people, maybe to give us another nice, good thing on Google or whatever, a review, you know.
Yep.
But it doesn't really work because people, it's just, no, it looks fine.
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. Do you, before you seal it twice a year, so do you power wash it before you seal it each time?
Yep.
Okay. See, I always wondered about when you power wash it, are you power washing the sealer off, the old sealer off, or how does that work?
Yeah, you totally are. So if it depends on how. So if you can hit it twice a year, then you should
building up
the stuff shouldn't be in your sealer by then, right? Like you should be able to keep it washed good enough to do that.
Yeah. Because I should do it twice a year. I find I get busy, but I should, but once a year at least, and it's held up pretty good. So, I definitely think people should take you up on your offer because sealer is not cheap. And
no, I think it costs us like, I'm pretty sure it's like $185 or something to seal. Like, I mean, we're talking, we do it for like nothing, dude.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know, just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, it's still gone. I don't know. I've never had a call while I've done it. Anyways, if they want to get a hold of you, where are you located? What's your number?
Yes. So I'm on, obviously my website is oregon-home-plans.com. And I'm in Sutherland, right on Central, next to the body shop. So if you want to go to the gym and then come by the office, I'm there.
Get pumped up.
That's right. You can reach me at 541-643-4998. And I say let's get you a home design and let's get building.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We got you.
Oh, I like that. Heck yeah.
That
looks good.
Yeah, you guys know I'm Val with L&M Custom Builders, and appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Good job, buddy.
Dude, we actually went over time.
I got a lot of content this way.